Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the TrapDraw podcast, and we are talking baseball today, playoff baseball to be specific, which means it's the Seamsters, which means I have DJ and Solly with DJ. Tough loss last night, but we're not nervous yet, right? It was in the models to drop one in Chicago, I got to think.
Totally in the models. Big game. That Monday game at home was big. You didn't want to split that going back to Wrigley. So, yeah, having a little cushion is nice. A little nervous that this is going to be coming out probably after tonight's game, so I'm not going to let my mouth get ahead of my brain. We're going to keep it on the rails, but I think I was telling you guys before, I think we're going to be powered pretty heavily by the vibes today. I'll just be straight up. I haven't done a lot of research. I went to both of those games in Milwaukee. It's hard to watch two games at once, especially when you're watching one in front of you. So, I don't know. Mariners fans, I continue to have no idea what's going on with your team. I'm sorry. I'll huck some stuff. I know there was some good, there was some bad, but yeah, I'm not super plugged in. So that's what I'm going to lean on you guys for.
Yeah, totally fine. Just shoot from the hip. That's what we do best. Solly, how are you this morning down in Florida? What's up?
Fired up. Already got in a little argument with a couple of you guys about the Reds before we hit record. Ready to let it fly. Just for the listeners' note, it is 2-1 Brewers as we are speaking. Just if there's any confusion as to when the timeline is of us recording this, it's Thursday afternoon. The night game that DJ is referring to is the Thursday night game.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Jeezy. I forgot to thank Mr. Jeezy off the top.
And for anyone who is confused too, this will be a predominantly Reds focused episode.
No. I just have I have 13 quick things to get through on the Reds, and then I'm totally fine to open up the floor to you guys.
Anytime we have left, we can talk about the Dodgers.
Joining us once again, we talked to him last year. We're so thrilled to have him back this year. It's Mr. 162, Brent Rooker, American League All-Star, DH for the Athletics, the Zombie A's, a guy that we really enjoy talking baseball to. Brent, you're kind of the brains of this operation, so no pressure. We're relying on you for some good ball takes here.
Yeah, gentlemen, good to be here. I will bring any logic to the conversation, any objective type opinions, and you guys just shoot from the hip, straight emotional, and we'll land somewhere in the middle, and it'll be good.
I don't see any situation where we don't put Brent in very awkward spots throughout the course of the day. The AL stinks, man. The whole AL stinks. He's just got to sit there and just be like, I shouldn't say anything about this.
I'm going to remain very, very neutral, so I'll do my best.
Well, very good. Brent, you could say, is here to clean up our bad takes. And, of course, this episode is brought to you by ServPro. ServPro is the #1 brand in cleanup and restoration, and they are known for making any mess like it never even happened. With over 2,200 locations nationwide, they're faster to any size disaster. You can visit servpro.com or call 1-800-ServPro today. Of course, we always have some mea culpas that are brought to you by ServPro. Solly, why don't we just start here? Anything to say about your 2025 Cincinnati Reds playoff baseball team? You want to apologize for anything?
I don't even know what I would possibly apologize for. Epic collapse by the Mets got them into the playoffs. They're going to pat themselves on the back, call the season a success. They've already said all the coaching staff's going to return from the 6th worst offense in baseball. No, I will not be apologizing for any of that. I don't know what you're fishing for there.
A little bit of a U.S. Ryder Cup team wins 10 singles matches.
100%.
Type of scenario for the Reds.
And it would be so different if they made a run to make it into the playoffs like the Guardians did, like have an amazing September to get in. No, just the Mets collapsed. That's all that happened here. And they expanded the playoffs.
The Reds swept the Cubs in 4. They won 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee. I think you're shortchanging them just a little bit.
They lost 3 in a row to somebody in September as well on the West Coast.
We thought they were dead. We were a little upset with Brent.
The A's were hot at that time. So the boys were swinging it. Kurtz was doing some real Kurtz stuff. So we're a tough team to beat when Kurtz is going full Kurtz mode for sure.
Also, could have been a Cincinnati Red, and they passed them. That was tough.
That's true.
I have an apology. I thought the Blue Jays were not going to win the AL East, so I won. I feel like I've had to apologize to Blue Jays fans all season, but they just keep proving me wrong. So Blue Jays fans, I am sorry. Mea culpa. DJ, anything to get off your chest?
I don't know if I was public with this, but I was a little sick to my stomach on those first 2 games. I did not know how those first 2 games in Milwaukee were going to go. And I was a little worried that we would see a repeat of the last couple years where, great at winning 86, 87, 90 games. And then the lights get a little bright and the offense kind of disappears. Not the case, man. Not the case. Absolutely bopped in those first couple games against the Cubbies. So I'll apologize for how I was feeling, I guess, and some of the things I may have said to some close confidants leading up to those first 2 games.
That's very, very brave of you. Thank you very much. And Brent, I'd be remiss if there's anything at all you want to apologize for. Now would be the time. Don't feel obligated, but this is a space for you to do that if you so choose.
No, I think I'm good. I guess I could. I could, all the various DMs and things I got throughout the year about me losing people with their parlays. I can apologize and bulk for all of those.
No, don't even apologize to those.
I'm not
people.
actually sorry, but if I could offer just like an all encompassing, like my bad, guys. I was trying my hardest.
How often when you're in the box are you thinking about those parlays?
Almost never, almost never. It's more like which of this guy's 3+ pitches am I going to get here? Not.
Yeah. But then when you get to first base, you're like,
yeah. Well, I got that.
First base,
hopefully,
good, man. I hope.
No, it's never even get to first base though, because I tend to be throwing in the home run parlay, not even like the big parlay. So it's like any day that I do not hit a home run, I am just an abject failure, which is kind of a tough place to exist in the online.
Great ballpark for that, though. Great ballpark if you hit some homers.
Yeah, good one. I didn't take full advantage this year. We struggled with backspin to the pull side a little bit, which is something we're addressing. We hit a lot of balls hard. Too much topspin. We can get into we can dive into details later. This is all things that I've reflecting on my season. We can get into some stuff. Certainly, I can also just offer objective backs and things.
No. We want to get into your season. We'll keep that. Maybe the plan was we'll dive into the postseason. Obviously, talk about the teams and series that are both still going on, and maybe some postmortems on some teams eliminated. And then Brent, I definitely do want to get into your year and talk about the A's a little bit. And then we're going to close things with one of my favorite segments. We're just going to huck some takes at you, and then you're going to tell us if that's a good take or a bad take. But before we do dive in, talk to us. It's obviously off season for you. Where are you? What's after the season ends, how much time do you take to decompress? I imagine you're not really doing baseball activities right now, or maybe you are. What's life like for you right now?
Yeah. So we are in Germantown, Tennessee, right outside Memphis is where we call home. So I'm back there. No baseball activities. Baseball activities themselves will start back to probably December 1. I'm looking at, I took a week off and then got back in the gym a little bit, started lifting. I wouldn't have done that except for the fact that we threw some equipment here in the house so I can just stay at home and get some workouts in. So I've started to do that, play a little golf. Main goal right now is introduce the 4-year-old, my daughter, to golf. We got her some little pink clubs, take her to the range a couple times, just trying to, introduce her to the idea of wanting to go with me is kind of where I'm at right now. So that's kind of been the focus of my first 2 weeks of the off season.
So what does that strategy look like? What are the carrots that you dangle to her on? Let's make this a fun experience.
So the pink clubs with her own little bag is a big thing because she's in the state, right? Like the stage right now where she wants to do everything herself. Like she wants to do all the stuff. So if I get her own thing, like this is yours, you don't have to share it, whatever. That's big. And then Ben Pelicani is a coach in Nashville. His advice is always like, you should leave when they're having the most fun so that they want to go back. So like, don't stay too long. It's like, get her to like peak fun where she's really enjoying it. It's like, okay, we got to go back now so that she wants to come back. So I think, just the idea of like us hanging out, obviously she's 4, then our youngest has just turned 1. So the idea of just me and her hanging out, she likes the idea of writing the cards. So just like the small things to make sure she's having a good time. And as long as she wants to go back and do it again, then it's a win for me, I think. So that's kind of where we've been.
I'm gonna start parachuting out of our golf trips, guys, when I feel like I've reached
when max fun, just get out of there. You got to leave one to come back.
It.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's right. Where'd Randy go? Just leave.
I think he was having too much fun. He had the jet. Brent, how's your golf game? Are you kind of dusting off the cobwebs a bit? How much are you able to play during the season? Talk about a little bit about where your golf game is.
My golf game is not great. Just to be honest, it's we play a little bit in season. 5-6 times, road off days, things like that. It's tough to critique yourself too much when you're literally never practicing. So like the in-season golf is just like, let's get out and have a fun time on an off day. I didn't get to play a ton last off season because I had elbow surgery immediately following. So the last I'm out of practice the last year and a half. I played yesterday. It's just like the ceiling and the floor right now are like the exact same. It's just like I'm going to go out and I'm going to shoot like 84, 85, and that's just going to kind of be what happens no matter what. So I think we're sitting at a 7.3, which is the highest we've been in a while, but it's okay. I'm going to try to dust off, like you said, dust off some cobwebs this offseason, get to practice a little bit more, hopefully, and then see where we're at. But it's not in great shape right now. There's a lot of swing thoughts happening all at once, and they tend to change hole by hole, which isn't a great place to be.
God, that is deeply relatable stuff there. Yeah.
Deej and Brent, you guys want anything to talk?
I don't know what my right arm is supposed to do in the takeaway, and that's the big thing. I don't know. I don't understand how it's supposed to function. If it's more of a folding, and that's just kind of where I am. So I'm trying to work through some things. I went.
There's one more swing thought there. I never thought about what my right arm.
Yeah,
does
that's what I'm saying. I don't know. That's all I think about is what my right arm used to do. In spring training, I went full Bryson fat grips. So that's where I'm at right now on all my clubs, which I kind of like. It's kind of nice, but I don't know if it's hurting or helping. I don't know. We're trying everything.
I love that. Everything's on the table.
Yeah.
Brent and I went and had dinner when they were in Milwaukee, and he was talking about. I was just blown away by your scheduling, your ability to look ahead at your guys' upcoming schedule and just be like, I think you guys were here in like April or something, and it was like in July we have a Monday off day in LA already on the book.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, can I hook you up with anybody or anything? No, we're dialed.
We're
out.
good.
We got you
everywhere.
Our
was
schedule
great.
this year was tough because a ton of our road off days were on Mondays. And so obviously most clubs are closed on Mondays.
Yeah.
So it's those Thursday off days on the road that you kind of look for. And we didn't have a ton of those this year. A lot of those fell at home. It's kind of we look well into advance and got to see where we can get out and what the schedule looks like.
What does it look like when the actual season ends? Just getting out of the golf stuff for just a second. Is it like last day of school, everybody going their separate ways? Does everybody kind of come in and meet and high five on the way out? I'm always curious it's not like everybody lives in Sacramento full time, so what's that like?
Yeah, no, it's very last day of school vibes for sure. Last team meeting normally is like a few days before, just because the last day is so chaotic with you're trying to get everything packed up, trying to get your locker packed up, trying to get your extra gear in the back packed up, and then everybody's got flights after the game, flights at night, flights the next morning, whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, it's very, very last day of school. Our situation this year, we have one guy who's an impending free agent. So you kind of look around the clubhouse, you're like, all right, everybody that's here right now is going to be here again. So it's not like a bunch of big goodbyes or anything. It's kind of just like, all right, see you guys in a few months, Arizona.
I forget if we asked you this the last time, but do you just have an apartment in how does your living work in Sacramento? And I know that changed from moving from Oakland to Sacramento, I'm sure.
Yeah. So when we were in Oakland, we just rented. But after signing the contract last offseason, we bought a house in Sacramento just for the 3 years that we're going to be there, because things were a little more concrete and things. So we bought a house out in Sacramento that will hold for the 3 years, and then probably sell it when we go to Vegas or figure out something. But it made Allie and the kids' life a little easier just to kind of have a permanent home base out there.
Did you find any golf in Sacramento? Have you?
We played.
Where did we play?
Home? We played couple places. I can't think of the name of them. Granite something, couple clubs. Sierra View Country Club was in Roseville where I live, which was nice. We went out there a couple times. The other one was called Granite Bay, I think, which was nice. There's a Del Paso, which I didn't play, which I heard was pretty good too. And then there's
that's where we filmed our Stanford video.
Oh yeah, Del Paso.
Del Paso, yeah.
Okay. And then there's a place a little up north we played a couple times. Winchester. It's kind of up in the mountains up there. It's a pretty good spot. So yeah, there's some courses we played.
And I guess last question, and this will be a segue into the postseason. How much postseason baseball do you watch? Do you enjoy watching the playoffs, or is it like, man, my season's over, I'm kind of getting away from baseball entirely?
No, I watch a lot. Even like the early games, kind of in the wild card series, the DSs. They're always on TV. Obviously, those are a little bit more challenging next to sit down and watch just because they're during the day and you've got stuff going on. But they're always on. And then the late games, I watch as much as I can for sure. I really enjoy it.
Well, let's dive in. Maybe we'll start in the National League. DJ's Brewers are in the they're up 2-1, as Solly said, in the NLDS. In the other NLDS, the Dodgers are up 2-1. Maybe we'll start with this Cubs Brewers series. DJ, you're feeling pretty good. I feel like probably don't want a game 5 back in Milwaukee. Just the pressure and maybe some bad memories from last year associated with that. Give the people a little bit where your mind is right now.
Yeah, wasn't really sure what to expect going into the series. Like I said, I think there was a lot of people that had a lot of fun with Pat Murphy after the first game, being like, "Man, it really felt like a home game." In here talking about a home playoff game. I know that should be a given for a lot of people, but anybody who's ever been to a Cubs Brewers game in Milwaukee knows that it's kind of 50-50. Cubs fans, Brewers fans, a lot of that is just the simple fact that it's easier to get to the stadium in Milwaukee than it is to get to Wrigley Field. I think a lot of people circle those matchups. A lot of Cubs fans circle those matchups, plan summer trips around and whatever. And I think with the short turnaround after the wild card series, and knowing, not knowing until the last minute that it was going to be Cubs Brewers or Brewers Padres, like I think the Brewers did a good job of kind of disseminating those tickets in the right way and making sure that it was packed as a home game. And so, Randy, all of that is a big way to say that I hope
getting out in front of the narrative. It's not a story here, guys. It's not a story.
You can say if it's a story or not. I don't care. I'm just saying what it was like. It did feel like a home game. And that is different than I've gone to a lot of Cubs Brewers games during the regular season, and it does not feel like that. So all of that is to say, if it, hopefully, like I said, they've won it and clinched it by the time you're listening to this. But if not, and if we are headed for a game 5, I don't know. I feel different than I did going into the series, where I was worried they were going to get little brothered a little bit. And instead, they kind of came out in each of those first 2 games and, got punched in the face and then punched way back harder in the face the other way. And held their ground, and the bullpen was rock solid. And so I don't know. I just think if you're looking at the sum of the parts, who's going to show up, all of the kind of tail of the tape type stuff. And I still like the Brewers to get that one done in one of these last 2 games.
Brewers feel like the alpha in this series. And I'm weirdly conflicted on who I'm rooting for in this one. Which is not
really?
It's not vibing with the Brewers. All right. I'm still very upset about
Cubs,
that 3. I know, but this Cubs team's so non-threatening. I don't think the Cubs are getting past whoever comes out of the other side of it, and the Brewers could. And I don't know. There's no good result from where I'm sitting right now anyways, Randy, but I feel like the Brewers are going to take care of this. I would not be worried.
Brent, let me ask you, you're the A's. I believe you played both of these teams pretty early in the season. I know ball clubs change throughout the season, but anything that you've seen from the Cubs and Brewers either back in April or now that surprises you? Or we've spent a lot of time too talking about like the Brewers magic, right? It seems like they have this just black magic that they tap into, and these guys just get to Milwaukee and they perform.
Plague defense and run at the bases.
I think the black magic is just being really good at baseball. I gotta think like that's their thing. We played the Cubs like the second week of the season. I think it was our home opener, and at that time they were the best offensive team I've ever seen in my life. I think Kyle hit like 3 homers. Seiya hit 3 or 4. Dansby hit several. Carson Kelly hit for the cycle 1 game. Like everything we threw, they just punched for 3 games. They kicked the crap out of us at home. So my impression of the Cubs all year was like, that team is really, really, really good. Can really sway it, which they still can. Obviously a really good team. And then the Brewers, like I said, I think the black magic is just like, they're just really good baseball players. Like in the most complimentary way, they're just an annoying team. Like they do everything well. They're not going to screw up. They're going to run the base running's elite. Like they're going to take every single extra base that you offer them. That's going to kind of allow for the lack of like traditional power maybe in the lineup. But when they're in scoring position constantly because of their base running, like they don't need the hit 7 bars. They can slug in the playoffs though. So I just think they're very pasty, which is almost. And I hate when people say that because it feels insulting. It's not. Like they're just they got 9 really good baseball players.
And I think that's what we've seen in the playoffs the last couple of years is when that thump goes out. Like it has been there all year, and it's there at the right times, and it's timely, timely home runs and timely doubles and whatever. And in the playoffs the last couple of years, like it has gone away, and you are kind of just relying on all of that. Like, okay, just slap one the other way, and it's like if that's the only thing you got, yeah, sure, it can be a little dicey. But yeah, in the first couple games here, you see William Contreras looks like himself. Jackson Chourio looks like himself. A lot of these dudes are starting to show up, and then you get the random timely hit from Blake Perkins on a 12 pitch at bat or whatever, and you can kind of make it 1 + 1 = 4 in a lot of those ways. But Brent, I remember you homered against the Brewers, but I'm hoping it was against Savali, who's now on the Cubs.
It was not against Savali. It was against one of the young starters. I don't remember which.
Either Chad Patrick, maybe, or
the other kid that started too.
Yeah.
Which it wasn't him. It wasn't the changeup guy. The changeup, I forgot that kid's name. He was really good against us. I think he was Patrick, but I wouldn't swear to that.
Alexander, I think is his last name, right? And he,
I don't know. He kid was throwing just through changeups, and he kind of wore us out for a little bit. He threw as well.
I'm looking at the box score. It was Chad Patrick.
Yeah. I hit that ball, and I don't know. I thought when I hit it, I was like, I hit that off the scoreboard. Like I stood on it, I watched it. I was like, that ball might leave the entire stadium, and then it went over by like 3 feet. Whoever's playing center almost robbed it, and I was like, what on earth just happened? But I guess sometimes I got the report when the roof is closed, which it was, but the back windows are open. It kind of like it kills some balls out there, which I almost learned the hard way because I almost looked really dumb, but thankfully it stuck over there.
105.3. It wasn't,
I mean, 105.3, like 30, whatever it was. It's like, it's normally going to leave places.
I see you got caught stealing that game too. Was that a missed sign, or was that?
I remember texting you about
hanging out to dry.
I thought it was a busted hit and run, but
I think it was. I think it was a busted hit and run. Maybe, I don't know. How many times did you throw out this year?
My guys just flail it out there.
You got caught stealing. That was your only caught stealing
this once.
Year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 bags this year, I think. Yeah.
All right. Well, Solly, I mean, I think the Brewers come out of here. Does anybody want to ride for the Cubs winning the final 2 games and sneaking out of the division series?
I don't worry about the Brewers in this series. I worry about them in the next one. I think that's the first time they're going. Whoever comes out of that one, I would be worried about. Despite having the home field, that's when it gets real for them. I think the Cubs are a flawed team. Randy, you were all over this block. I should have made a call. I have many mea culpas to make. You asked me to mea culpa the Reds. I won't do that. I have many mea culpas I could make. You were right about the Cubs.
Thank you.
And I do not fear them.
It's the most, kind of, what is it? Lies, damn lies, and statistics sort of thing is the Brewers are like 6-0 against the Dodgers this year also, which is just the weirdest. I kind of wish that didn't happen almost.
Yeah.
It was like kind of
wish that wasn't the case.
Yes. Just catching at the perfect time when the wrong guys are hurt. And it was just kind of like they just kept winning those games. I was like, man, this is great, but also, oh God, this is going to come back to bite us somewhere.
I don't think the Dodgers are invincible by any stretch, but it does seem like they were playing for we're just getting in the playoffs. They didn't seem like they tried that hard for a 2 seed even, and get healthy, get the rotation healthy, and with that starting rotation, we're gonna match up well against anyone in the playoffs, and that's when we start playing baseball. It's kind of a little bit what it feels like. A luxury that has only been afforded to one team, I think. Just have a sense of to not feel like you need to play with a sense of urgency over 162 games. That's what it felt like.
Yeah. By the way, what if one of our starters is the best closer ever? It turns out.
Oh yeah, true.
It's just just the amount of sheer pitching that they have that I just like. Right, fuck, I forgot about that guy too. He's on their team too. Like, how is this? How many pitchers do they have? It's just It's very, very wild.
Oh, come on. Well, we're talking Dodgers, Phillies. Currently, that series stands. It's been I guess game 3, the Phillies won pretty comfortably 8-2. But the first 2 games in Philadelphia were very good baseball games. I just can't see the Dodgers dropping 3 straight to lose this series. Brent, what do you think? Are the Dodgers? I mean, obviously the bullpen is a bit of a question mark and would be the Achilles heel. Do you look at the Dodgers though as the most complete team in the National League? How do you kind of stack up these four remaining clubs?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. I feel like there's just the styles of play between the four left are so different. I mean, I guess the Phillies and the Dodgers are kind of similar, and just like the offensive firepower and the like the name value up and down the lineup is crazy. With the Phillies too. So either one of those teams, if the offense gets hot, can just run off like 8 to 10 runs 3 games in a row. The Dodgers are scary. The Phillies are scary. I'm interested to see kind of how the game 4, I guess, is tonight, see how that goes. But as far as the most complete team, I really don't know. And I'm going to stay neutral here. I'm not going to, I'm going to do my very best to do that. But I mean, both of those teams are just so crazy talented. We played both of them pretty early too. We've got the Dodgers in the midst of a lot of their injuries. And that series against them was kind of weird because we blew them out game 1. And then they just beat our doors off the next 2 games. So that was kind of a weird one. But I think with those two, it's just like I said, if either one of those lineups gets hot and 3 or 4 of their guys start clicking at the same time, it's going to be tough to beat either of them or who's on the mound.
It's just hard. The longer a series goes against the Dodgers, like the more their starting pitching depth is just going to eventually wear you down. I mean, you can't turn them over. You don't get to a bullpen game. Like you don't. And they're going to have to, get Tyler Glass now throwing tonight. And I mean,
that's crazy.
I guess it's Sanchez for the Phillies crazy. Tonight, then the day off. And then I forget how it would reset for them. But it's just freaking crazy. But their lineup is
like
not.
Snell, probably, right?
That's the advantage they had. Like DJ was talking about, even when Snell and Glass now are both hurt, like 2 elite arms, there's like, it's fine. Like we're going to make the playoffs no matter what happens. And as long as they're healthy, then we're chilling. Like it's the depth and the talent is nuts.
DJ, I kind of like where the Brewers are. It feels a bit icky I think of the Dodgers and Phillies as the 2 big dogs and maybe even the favorites, whoever wins that series. Let's presume Milwaukee gets out. But like you said, Milwaukee, number 1 seed in the National League, was 6-0 against the Dodgers. And yet I think they can take almost an underdog mentality into a National League championship series, which I feel like is a great place to be
with home field advantage too.
Yeah. So we'll see. Let's do obviously we'll we'll monitor these division series. Let's get into some quick postmortem. Solly, what would you like to say about the Reds?
Okay.
And putting a bow on this 2025 playoff campaign.
Big. It was exciting to make the playoffs. It was exciting for about 24 hours there. It was, I think, poorly managed in that final week. They could have had Hunter Green throw the 6th to last game and the last game to give them the best chance of getting in. That completely backfired as they lost game 162 against the Brewers. What reverse backfired was that the Marlins came through for us and knocked the Mets out and lined up Hunter Green to start game 1 against the Dodgers, which was like, hey, chip at a chair, man. Like, do we deserve to be on the same field as the Dodgers? Absolutely not. But it's a 3-game series. Like, what more could you possibly ask for? Like, it's essentially a play-in series. Let's give it a shot. Hunter Green getting roughed up in game 1. Listen, that's tough. Like, that's going to be tough to survive. Apparently, he was tipping pitches. It's hard for me to get upset about that one. Pitching's been the strength of this team. I have no qualms with how things are being run on that side of the house. Dodgers are good. You tip your cap. Listen, did I think it was ridiculous when Tito let Ke'Bryan Hayes bat in the 5th inning when they were down 5 runs? I did. Did I think it was ridiculous when he let him hit again in the 7th when the Reds were down 6 runs? I did. I did. Did I think it was ridiculous that he then subbed in Sal Stewart for defense in the bottom of the inning? I also thought that was ridiculous. And then I think it was ridiculous that Ke'Bryan Hayes hit again in the 8th with the bases loaded and the Reds down 5, yet you burned Sal Stewart on the defense. I did. I thought that was a problem, Big, but they lost the game by 5. I thought they had the best chance of winning it based on the managerial decisions. No, I absolutely did not. Game 2 was a disgrace.
Brent, your response? No, I'm just joking.
I will chime in and say, the 3 games we played, I was very impressed with Sal Stewart. I think he is very good. He's He's young. He's got a really, really good field at hit. Looks like an advanced approach. He's got some thump too. So I think he's got a bright future. I was impressed with him in those 3 games. That was the first I'd seen him. So
yeah, how much do you think he can produce just getting 30% of the playing time and spending most of his time down in AAA? We'll save that for later. Okay,
what is he? 20? Is he 22, 23? He's young, right? He's 21. Okay, so yeah, he's going to get everyday bats next year. Obviously, he's good. He's good. I would count him in there for 500 plate appearances next year, based on what I saw. He's solid.
We would too, based on what we've seen, but that does not mean he would be getting 500 plate appearances. Santiago Escobar got 300 this year. So
you mentioned, and I want to ask Brent about this. You mentioned there were some reports that they thought maybe Hunter Green was tipping some pitches. Not specific to Hunter Green, Brent, but how prevalent is? I feel like I'm reading more and more about teams trying to do anything they can to kind of figure out if pitchers are tipping pitches. How prevalent is that, in your opinion, the ability to like pick up on something that would be a tell from a pitcher?
It happens a lot. I don't think it happens as much as fans on Twitter think it's happening. I think there's a lot of deking going on. I'm most active on Twitter during the playoffs. And it seems like every time any pitcher gives up a home run, they're like, oh, he's tipping. I was like, no, like they're not always tipping. Sometimes you just hit home runs. Like it happens. I remember the big one last year was when Pete hit that homer off Devin. Everybody was like, oh, no, he knew it was coming. I was like, no, Pete is just like has the most home runs in the league besides Turner in the last 6 years. So like, there are teams with like people on staff who sold jobs, like find out, figure out, watch video, watch these overlays, similar on computer system and camera, try to pick up any time we can possible. You get some sometimes, and you get in the box, like, okay, that looks different in the box, and those on camera, so I can't really use it, or it's easier to see from that camera angle than it's anywhere else. We can't really use it. It's definitely happening. It's a very fair way to try to get any kind of advantage that you can.
It reminds me a little bit of like the online "I was hacked" excuse. Just like anytime anything goes right, oh, I was hacked. There's hackers. Yeah. Hackers, they're tipping pitches.
They'll post these side by sides on Twitter, and I'm like, is this a bit? There's no difference in these images. Look at how he's tipping it in super slow motion. Look how his angle of his glove changes. I don't even see it in slow motion, but there is something to like, man, they just feel like they're all over what you're throwing. I mean, Hunter's stuff didn't look any less. It just was like, they kind of felt like they were on it. So
there's sometimes like even like we'll do our pregame report and like, hey, we got a tip on this guy, and it's pretty obvious. You look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, I see that for sure. And you get in the game, you're like, okay, well, they also saw it, so then they fixed it, and like it's gone now, so we can't do anything with it. That happens a lot too.
Yeah.
Well, the only other team that has been eliminated from the National League playoffs as of right now, the San Diego Padres.
Wait, do I not get to do game 2, Randy?
Okay,
that's where things are wrong. I mean,
please,
come on.
Solly, walk us through game 2.
I mean, game 2 was a complete disgrace. Reds get 2 fluky runs in the first. They're opening with Zach Littell. I'm sorry, he's one of your boys, Mr. Rooker. He was a totally fine back of the rotation arm. When your season's on the line, I was under the understanding that he was there to be an opener. Okay.
That's what they emailed Solly about before the game. They told me that he was just going to be an opener.
The only thing that would make sense when you have Nick Lodolo, who's clearly your second best pitcher, like they are going to using Zach Littell to get through one round through the order. And if you get through where he gives up 1 run, you're probably in a pretty good space, right? The whole thing with the Reds' playoff chances was like, get them in a short series. They have Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, Andrew Abbott. Like that is what your calling card is in this situation. So Littell gets through the lineup one time through, and he's just giving up rockets. My neck was hurting watching these line drives. And he got through with 0 runs, and it was like everybody that I follow on Reds Twitter was like, oh my God, cannot believe we got through those 2 innings. Like we're up 2-0. Like it's Lodolo time. Let's go. They throw him back out there for the 3rd inning. It went very, very, very poorly. Gave a double to the 9-hitter. Now he's got to face Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. Surely now it's time for Lodolo with the lefties coming up. Nope, they give up a run. Okay, only gave up 1 run through 3 innings. That was lucky. Now let's take the chips off the table. Let's get moving. He's back out for the 4th, opens up the inning against lefty Max Muncy, 99-mile-an-hour single. Kike Hernandez doubles, Miguel Rojas singles. Finally, Lodolo comes in with the Reds down 3-2, gets out of the jam, gives up no runs in the 5th. And they pulled him after 14 pitches. Lodolo Don't know why he didn't start, and don't know why he did not last more than 14 pitches. There's been no indication of injury of any kind. In comes Nick Martinez with your season on the line, down 1 run. And Martinez does not miss bats. This is not garbage time. You're down 1 with your season on the line, and Martinez gets rocked. They end up down 8-2. They end up adding a couple later, get the tying run to the plate, like to show how important it was that you stay within shouting distance with your season on the line, and it's all over. And that it was just so – I did not have problems with the way Tito managed the bullpen all year long and the pitching staff. Like, that was just – it was out of character, and I just do not understand trusting Zach Littell with your season when you had Nick Lodolo sitting right there. I do not understand it even one bit.
Brent, your rebuttal.
I did say
Just joking.
not using Lodolo in a larger capacity I thought there must be something there, whether it was starting or throwing in
to
longer
be fair,
relief.
he left his last start with a bit of a groin tweak, so you don't know if that maybe
Might have been a limited
in it.
workload situation.
Did you ever
Yeah.
consider, Sully, maybe Lodolo didn't have that look in his eye when he showed up to the ballpark?
That's right. Sometimes you just got to look the horse in the mouth and see what they got. Sully, I am with you. It was very puzzling why Lodolo didn't start the 4th with a clean slate. And, hindsight being what it is, maybe you bring Chase Burns in there after Lodolo instead of Martinez. I think on the plus side for the Reds, young group to get postseason experience, I do think is important. Brent, maybe I would ask you about that. And I do think it's something that can serve them into next year and going forward. So I really do think there were a lot of positives about, yes, they won 83 games, but they did get to the postseason. They got a taste of it. And I do hope that is a bit of a springboard for next year. So we'll see.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Yeah.
The pessimist in me is thinking, all right, well, they spent millions of dollars on a road wildcard series for already cheap ownership. That's not good. Now they're out of the draft lottery as well, and now they'll pat themselves on the back for making the playoffs and not make the improvements that they need to make to become a real baseball team in 2026. That's the pessimist in me. I hope you're right. I really do. I fear that this 2025 being viewed as a success, which I do not think that it was.
I'm sorry your team made the playoffs, man. That sucks.
I know.
It's so funny to me how every baseball fan is so pessimistic, and it's
the only way to do it.
Yeah, I get it, and it's just like there's just like one team that's going to be like only one fan base gets to be happy at the end of the year, and even they're going to find bases.
It's the best.
I don't know. It's funny, which I understand is kind of like sports fandom as a whole. Like it's just like let's all be collectively upset about this thing together, and it creates unity, and like it is funny to me looking at it.
Brent, do you feel that way at all about like is there a sports team that you're an irrational fan about? Like I'm thinking like Mississippi State football or something. Do you get that way about anything?
No, I don't. I think I don't know why. I just don't have that. Like I think part of it is, and I say this, but it doesn't really work, and I'll explain that too. Like I think I just invest so much into like 162 games. I don't have it any to go invest in like someone else's games too. But I mean, there's guys on my team like up and down the clubhouse who 100%. Like if the Eagles lose, their whole week's gonna be ruined. I mean, I don't understand that. I don't have that gene. Whatever it is, I'm incredibly grateful for that gene because it gives me a game to play and it pays my salary. I just don't have it. So it's funny to me looking at it from like an outside point of view, just like people being constantly upset all the time, but like loving that part of it. Like you like love being upset all the time. It's great.
And Deej, you could laugh at, I'm sorry your team made the playoffs, and that's all I've wanted for 12 years, and it's the first time it's happened. Listen, it's also super not rewarding when you get there and just be like, oh, we're not even that good, or we're totally outclassed. What's the point of selling our soul to make the playoffs when this is going to be over quickly, very quickly? 26 hours, I think it was.
And being a baseball fan seems the most exhausting just because there's 162 times to like be upset.
Yeah. What if we
again? I'm super grateful for all of it. And I love the passion. I love the fandom because it makes our league and our sport great. But it is funny to me.
Yeah. No, I felt the same. I mean, same thing. The last couple of years when like the Brewers scratch and claw and they get through and they get in the wild card and you see the two, like go back to those two pinch hit Jesse Winker at bats that just like the home stadium just booing its own manager. Like that was the perfect encapsulation, Brent, I think, of what you're talking about. Was just like, not only do I not believe in this guy that's on my team, I have spent 6 months rooting these guys out, and now in the biggest moment of the year, I'm going to flip.
I'm going to make it harder for him to succeed now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
That'll get the point across.
Yeah, exactly. That's just, God, what a weird thing. Well, Big, I think this kind of leads us into the first ad read of the day, if you don't mind. And this is,
please.
I mean, our guy Drew at Stone Creek is absolutely in playoff form here as well. This might be a 25-minute ad read, but let me see if I can get through it. Quote, baseball is not a science. It's a feeling. It's a vibration. It's the sound of 40,000 people shouting the Cubs still suck into Lake Michigan breeze. While nearsighted statisticians continue to short the crew, the Brewers have been out here doing God's work, manifesting destiny one bloop single at a time. The Brewers, much like the city they call home, are a living dissertation on the human condition. They're a swirling espresso shot of passion, grit, and the unquantifiable power of friendship. Now, sure, the analysts, quote unquote, will tell you that the long-term bankable success is measured in exit velocity, launch angle, and WRC plus. But history and the ghost of Bob Uecker tell us otherwise. We're not even halfway through here. They tell us that belief, brotherhood, bogus letters from the dead, and pocket pancakes can move mountains. Never has that been more clear than Game 1 of the NLDS, where the Brewers turned analytics into interpretive dance with a 2-inning, 9-run fever dream that left even StatCast questioning its own reality. That's not launch angle, that's spiritual geometry. So while the Brewers keep proving that friendship is greater than F-war, that fielding errors can be forced, we're going to enjoy each game and each cool breeze of October with some damn good coffee. Stone Creek coffee, roasted right here in the city of hope and high character, doubles to the gap. The Short King City, born in a city that's just tired enough, just gritty enough, and just drunk enough to think that this is finally the year Stone Creek Coffee's in the business of fueling dreams and sticking it to the man.
Hell yeah.
If you're listening to this and you truly believe in the power of intangibles, grab yourself a cup of Stone Creek coffee, beverage of the proletariat. Spirit animal of Solly's guy Joey Ortiz, the official coffee of let's just get on base and see what happens. Solly, you analytics loving coastal elite, taste it. Just for the hell of it, use code Brewers for as long as they're in the playoffs, 20% off your next order.
The Brewers are the most analytically inclined team in baseball. Can I please get this in?
That goes for everyone. Code Brewers for 20% off your next order. StoneCreekCoffee.com. Let glory days roll.
Oh, this is a thing that's going on Twitter too, of like, yeah, the Brewers just saying F you to analytics. I'm like, they are literally the embodiment of analytics. Like, credit to the Brewers on this.
It's so good. I think Ken Rosenthal wrote a column about that like a couple weeks ago, that everybody just was like, dude, the reason they traded for Caleb Durbin was like because of analytics. The reason all these pitchers are able to turn around is because of analytics. It's like,
that ad read was fantastic, but also to agree with that, just like as like a rule of thumb, if there's a team that like you stack up against another team and the one team isn't as quote unquote talented as the other team, but the one team with the less talent wins more games, it's because they're using the analytics. It's because they're taking full advantage of every opportunity and every advantage they can get with the analytics. That is just like a buzzword now for things that people don't like.
It's just information. I don't know why it's so scary.
It's all, yeah, it's,
you guys are scared of the vibes. It's okay.
Just gotta get guys on, see what happens.
See what happens, baby.
Create a little traffic.
That's right. Stella, I did want to congratulate you on Jazz's season-ending error yesterday. That was speaking of defense. That was
no way could have seen that coming. But
well, let's go there. That's a good lead into the American League. Brent, I know you've seen these teams a lot more, so we'll lean on you here. We do have the Blue Jays. The Toronto Blue Jays have clinched a spot in the American League Championship Series, and we will await the winner of the decisive Game 5 between the Tigers and Mariners. I believe that's being played Friday night. So the Blue Jays will get the winner of that game. Let's start with the Blue Jays. I mean, you heard me in the beginning of the show. I doubted the Blue Jays in spring training. I doubted them early in the season. I doubted them midway through the season. I doubted them late in the season. How good are the It just seems like they hit the crap out of the ball, Brent. Is that what you see? Is it kind of offense driven?
Yeah, I mean, I think the offense is really impressive. I think I don't know what the metrics say, but defensively they seem very solid too. They've got good defenders all over the field. The offense is just so complete. There's guys that do everything. Obviously, watching what George has done this year has been super fun to watch. I am all about 35-year-old DH, right-handed DHs having huge seasons, so it gives me hope for the future. So I love watching that happen. Vladdy is dominating the playoffs. My guy Ernie Clements is just being a solid all-around player as there is. So Ernie's a stick, by the way. Good golfer, really good golfer. Ernie is.
Write that down.
But yeah, I mean, I think their offense up and down. Addison Barker is one of my favorite players in the league. He just swings the absolute shit out of it every time he swings, and it's awesome to watch because when he connects, it goes 800 miles an hour. And he's got one of the better arms in the league too. It's a super fun guy to watch. But yeah, I mean, I was impressed with the Blue Jays. And I said earlier that I don't think the pitch tipping is happening as much as fans think it is. I think the Blue Jays might know every pitch that's coming from the entire season because they hammer everything. They never swing and miss, and it is a credit to the guys they have and their approach as a whole. It's wildly impressive.
Those home road splits are interesting. Just all I'm saying. They got a hotel kind of around that ballpark. Just look into it. Look into it.
Your own research.
You're exactly right, Brett. They are the number one defensive team in baseball, both overall for the season and the second half.
That was me going strictly off eye test. So yeah, the old school metrics work too, guys. Just it's right.
And they're doing this without Bo Bichette too, who had a really nice bounce back regular season. Yeah, it's impressive. Who do you think? I'm thinking of the best way to phrase this: Tigers or Mariners? I guess what team do you think makes a better series, or between the Tigers and Mariners, who do you think might have the most complete team out of those two clubs, Brent?
I think watching Tarek potentially throw twice against the Blue Jays lineup would be really entertaining, really good theater. I think it sucks for Seattle, and I'm upset about it that Brian Wu isn't healthy because I would love to see him pitch in playoffs environments because the kind of incredible year that he had. I think that on top of the hitters they have, the strength of that team is the depth of the rotation, which I think plays really well in these playoff series where they theoretically wouldn't have had to rely on a quote unquote bullpen game because they have 5 starters that they could run out any of them and feel incredibly confident in. So I think Game 5 is super interesting. Tarek, and I don't think Seattle's announced their starter yet, or I don't know what they're going to do. But I think either team against Toronto is going to be a really good series for different reasons. I really do. I wish Brian was healthy because I would love to see him pitch. I'd love to see the kind of impact he would have on these series.
Scooble's appointment TV, man. It's one of the few pitchers
it's incredible.
That I go out of my way to watch pitch. He's
so good.
That changeup looks just looks ridiculous from the a lefty changeup from that right-handed view. It looks so unhittable, man.
There's a lot happening in the front side of the delivery. It gets high, and then the angle he throws the fastball in with, like the changeup comes out of the same window with the same angle. And then it just it goes away and you don't know why. It just gets halfway to play and just takes off to his arm side.
I don't know if you want to give up too much on this, but how do you somebody that pitches like that has such a good fastball changeup combo? Mm-hmm. If you hit the changeup, is it because you're guessing changeup? Is there a way to see you know what I mean? Is there a way to hit that pitch without guessing changeup?
A bad one, yeah. If it's a good one, no. Okay. If it's one that he leaves over the middle of the plate, you can hit it on accident. He doesn't do that a lot. If you see a guy hit the changeup that's out over the plate on the outside corner, the guy was sitting on it. Somebody better than me maybe can make that adjustment, but he throws so hard, and the hittable fastball is one that is closer to you as a righty. So if I try to swing up and heater away, I'm now going to chase every changeup because they're coming out of those same windows. So to answer your question, no. For me at least, if you see a hung changeup and a guy makes contact with it, that could have been on accident. If anybody makes contact with one of the well-located changeups, they were just sitting change.
For those listening real quick, Brent in his career is 8 for 20 against Scooble with 3 home runs. So
he's waiting for you to mention that.
My guy sees it. My guy sees
He
it
got
big
me the
against
last time I
Derek.
saw those. No, I don't. And it's like, yeah, I know I have those career numbers against him, but I still don't want to see him. Like,
You don't
I
want
have
to
no
stretch that
interest.
out.
I don't,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm good.
We're talking about taking
they were going
off
into
the table. Let's just.
He threw against us late in the season, in August. I think it was August or September. I don't know, one of those. But I knew going into that game, I was like, look, I'm 8 for 17 with 3 homers off this guy. There's no way this goes well again. There's no reason for me to have had this much success to this point against him. So these things are going to even out at some point. So let's try to get out of there as quickly as we can.
That's a little bit of a Brewers 6-0 against the Dodgers this year.
It's the exact same thing. Yes, it's like this shouldn't be the way that it is. So I'm scared for what's going to.
Maybe it'll just go like this forever. Yeah.
More potentially dumb hitting questions, but let's just, for example, let's say that Tarek Skubal is throwing you a 100-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle and a 90-mile-an-hour changeup right down the middle. How do you process either of those pitches? Like, if you see like, you know what I mean? Like, can you in real time be like, because it happens obviously so incredibly fast, and 90 mile an hour is a lot slower than 100 miles an hour, but it's still very fast. Are you like able to say change up, now we go, or it's just total body like sees the ball?
So when it's 100, there's no time to like wait to see it before you swing. You basically have to be committed to swinging in a window. And then if it doesn't go in that window, you can stop. But as soon as the ball comes out in the window you're looking for, if it's 100, like you got to go. And so that's why I say if it's a changeup that's hung in the middle of the plate, you can, if my window is like the fastball closer to me and my goal is to hit that to left center, then like in 90-mile-an-hour changeup, I'm going to catch just a little more on front. I'm going to pull it down the left field line. But if I'm waiting to decide whether I have to swing at the 100, I got no shot at the 100. I have to be going as soon as the ball comes out, whatever visual window I've set my eyes on. And normally against the guys with the higher velo, the more elite stuff, you're trying to pick a window that gives you a chance against 2 of the pitches, which is like, all right, Derek, if I look for your fastball closer to me, it's going to give me a chance on the hung changeup, and I can hit the fastball. Now I've got a chance at 2 of those pitches. And if it's the opposite, if it's like righty who's going sinker changeup or whatever, I may try to push it out and up over the plate. It's going to give me a chance to hit the sinker and the changeup, and then you kind of roll the dice with the rest of it and just do your best to compete. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense in my head. Yeah.
It does, but it's still, you just watch a whole season of baseball and you're getting frustrated when somebody's chasing a pitch in the dirt, and then they show the ump cam one time and you're like, how do you ever hit the ball? Ever one time? Right. It's insane.
Right. And the more it's like if I watch the game, every time a guy takes a pitch or swings at a pitch, I can tell you exactly the reason he swung at it. Like the guy swings at a sweeper 2 feet off the plate away. Like, what the hell are you doing? And it's like, well, the guy just threw a sinker out of that exact same window 2 pitches ago that wound up like middle down in the strike zone. So it's like, as soon as your brain sees the pitch in the same window, you subconsciously like, oh, it's a sinker again. They just landed middle of the zone. And you go and it goes the other direction. You're like, well, I don't really know what to do with that.
Can I? This might be a stupid question too, but when you're talking windows, are you talking like literal window, like looking out at there? Like I see something in the background, and do you get what I mean? Is it? I'm almost thinking like putting, where it's like I'm trying to hit this spot, and if I hit that spot, that's going to time everything up. Do you know what I mean? Is it almost like, because then you get into arm angles, and now my window's changing, and all of that stuff. So do you mean a literal window, or how do you visualize that? If you can,
that's an interesting question. I don't really know how to answer it. I don't know if I have an answer. I don't know if I've ever thought about it. I don't know. It's like, no, it's like, I know the area of the zone that I want to look for the ball to end up in. And now I know what window, like where the ball has to start out of his hand and now end up in that area of the zone where I want to swing. So if I'm sitting on a right-handed slider, like I need that ball to look like it's going to hit me in the shoulder when it comes out of his hand.
That's
to be one that I want to swing at.
Time.
Yeah, right. It's too like, and there's guys like that. Like if it's cutter, slider, sweeper guy, if there's something that comes into me, it's like, all right, I'm going to only swing the pitch that looks like they're going to hit.
Oh,
because I know those are going to be the ones in the zone. And that's why this is you want to talk. I mean, the reason that I think hitting is getting more difficult, there's always like a 3 to 5 year like meta. You want to say that? Like pitchers develop this new tactic.
Yeah.
And right now it's 2 fastballs. It's like the Schlitter kid from New York is still on 104 seed and 100 sinker. And now you've got to be on time for 100, but you got to pick the right 100 or you've got no shot. So it's like, that's kind of been the wave. And that's I think it's Seattle's fault because they kind of started this whole Castillo and the Kirby I'm like, hey, what if we just throw 70% fastballs, but they're all 98 and they don't know which fastballs go. And they're going to be doing different things. That's where the windows get a little dicey. It's like, there's a fastball, say a guy has fastball, slider, sinker. And it's like, okay, to hit fastball or sinker, I need it. But if he throw, fastball or slider, I need it in. If he throws a sinker at that same window, I might swing it in the chest. And I just like, I gotta be okay with that to have a chance with the other two. That's where the game's going. So that's why league average is 240 and everybody complains.
I was going to save this for good take, bad take, but I'll just lob it now. I think PitchCom is a disgrace, and they should give you guys like sign stealing and making it harder to change the nuclear codes every day for pitchers and catchers should be a bigger part of the game. I think if the pitching and batting scale has gotten out of whack, and I understand I'm talking to a biased party here, but if that feels like it's gotten out of whack, I feel like that's an easy way to bring it back. That should be like another thing they have to think about, I think.
Yeah, so I think it comes with the caveat. That's a good take as long as you're okay with game times going back up.
It's a little antithetical to pitch clocks is the main thing, I guess.
Yeah,
I
suppose.
If you're okay with the longer games, then it's a fine take. I have fun with it.
Brent, I was going to ask you just real quick on hitting. I've always wondered when they talk about guys who are able to kind of be late and take the ball, almost out of the catcher's mitt. Like, is that something they're really trying to, because like Solly said, like the reaction times are so minuscule, and the difference between 90 and 100 even is like it's not really that big amount of time at all.
Sure.
And so like can guys like really kind of be late intentionally, or is that just almost more random, do you think?
There are guys with shorter swing lengths that can certainly let the ball travel longer before making a swing decision, knowing that they're going to be sacrificing slug. So I think if you go to Baseball Savant, you go to their leaderboards and you sort by swing length. The guys with those super short swings are going to be the guys you're talking about. It's going to be Arise. It's going to be Jacob Wilson. It's going to be guys like super short.
Guys that play the game the right way.
Yeah, exactly. Just hard-nosed, gritty. Yeah. Guys that can let the ball travel and just take a super short swing. And the swing and miss is going to be less because they are able to make later swing decisions. But now, again, that comes with the knowledge that you are going to sacrifice some slug because you're not going to be able to catch as many balls out front and get to the pull side.
How much do you care about your bat speed?
A lot, most. Yeah, a lot. I mean, that would be one of my training focuses this offseason is going to be try to get mile or two of added bat speed because I think it's very similar. Like both. I mean, you talk about driver club at speed. Like, not only does it raise your ceiling, it also raises your floor. Like, the quality of contact doesn't have to be as good if you're swinging faster. You could theoretically make later swing decisions and maintain the same contact point if you're just moving the objects faster. So yeah, I looked at I broke down 24 and 25, the two seasons for me, found some differences, found some things that were the same, and I'm going to dive in. I'm going to try to get a little bit of bat speed added this offseason without changing any mechanic things. I just want to simply just move the bat a little bit faster. I think.
Your boys, the Cincinnati Reds, Randy, fourth worst in average swing speed in baseball this past year as they preach the small ball stuff. So just your boys.
Thank you, Solly. I'm making note of that. Thank you. Okay, two questions real quick. Going back to the guys that can let the ball travel a little bit. So, like, I think of a guy like Joey Votto, who seemed to have that ability, right, to let it travel, and still had some slug, right? Is obviously not in like a Luis Arise category. Another guy maybe I think of is like a Freddie Freeman. He seems to be able to do that. I mean, when you combine the ability, I guess, of a short swing and letting the ball travel, and you still are able to produce like slugging percentage.
Yeah.
Are we then talking about like guys that are like, oh no, they go to the Hall of Fame for a reason? Like, is that kind of the holy grail, or what's like the hitting holy grail in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can do those two things, then yeah, but you get Joey Votto and you get Freddie Freeman, who are obviously both outlier Hall of Fame guys. I think it comes down to one, their ability to know. I haven't talked to either of these guys about hitting approach. I don't know, but I would assume it's like they know very well when to take their shots to get it more out front, to get to that slug, and then they can cut it down. And then the barrel accuracy too. Between like Freddie and Mookie both stand out as guys with do not have crazy bat speed, but are going to hit 30 homers just because their barrel accuracy, like they find the barrel, they find the sweet spot really, really often. And Mookie hits a ton of balls. They're like probably 99 at 28 degrees that are home runs, just because like it's the optimal launch angle. It's on the barrel. It's spun well, and those are going to get out. So I think, yeah, when you talk about the ability to do both those things, yeah, you're just naming the Hall of Fame guys who can do both. Vladdy's the guy who comes to like Vladdy doesn't strike out really ever, and he gets his power. And again, Vladdy's probably going to be a Hall of Famer.
The Freddie thing is wild. Looking at this leaderboard, he's the 181st fastest bat in the league this year.
Yeah.
But it is crazy to just, if you sort by the fastest bats, O'Neal Cruz, Junior Caminero, Jordan Walker's like the outlier on this list in terms of production. Joe Adell, Schwarber, Nick Kurtz, Aaron Judge, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Matt Wallner, Julio Rodriguez, Ronald Acuna Jr., James Wood, Wilson Contreras, Addison Barger, Austin Riley, Jesus Sanchez, Shohei Ohtani, Luis Robert Jr., Riley Green, Gunnar. Like, this, you just got to swing the bat fast, man.
It's a little bit of a driving
distance
distance type of like pre-rack.
Yeah, 100%. You know? If you go sort WRC plus for 24 and 25, like the 2 years combined, I think I'm ninth on that leaderboard. Every guy ahead of me swings faster than I do. So I look at that, I'm like, what do I got? Like, what do I have to do? Like, I should swing faster would probably be beneficial for me if like everybody that's been better than me for the last 2 years just simply swings faster.
I think I'm ninth. You know you're ninth. Come on, you're a
I think I'm ninth.
like the rest
it
of us.
It might have been eighth. I think it was ninth.
I remember I was talking to Max Homa, who went to I don't know if he went and saw you guys in Arizona or something, and he was like sending me
Detroit.
That's what it was during
Detroit. Yeah,
during the Rocket mortgage.
Yeah.
And he said you walked over and had a question about club head speed to him. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yeah, I can swing my 6-iron like 110, and then I'll swing my driver like 114. They're like, why am I so bad at what is happening? Why are these two things so different?
And I would love right arm, man. What are you doing with your right arm on the takeaway?
I don't know, and I got to figure that out today. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, that was going to leave me. Sorry, I think we're just getting to the point of the program where we're just going to start asking baseball questions. But a guy like
my favorite part.
Cal Raleigh, sorry. You know, I'm looking at his bat speed. Didn't take a dramatic jump this year. Obviously, more barrels this year. Like, how do you go from hitting 30, 34 home runs to having a season where you just hit 60? Like, I guess, is that something that he's made a change? Is that something like he just did not miss pitches this year? Like, I guess if you think about like Brent in 2026, how would you go about hitting 60 home runs? Like how do you even?
And if you want to say he's cheating, that'd be good for downloads too. So if you want to just say, I think he's clearly cheating.
It was just a torpedo bat. That was it. That was the only reason. He pushed the torpedo bat and hit 60 homers. No, I think I'll answer the second part of your question. If you were to ask me, how are you going to go from 30 homers to 60 homers next year? It would be just not missing pitches in the middle of the zone. I feel like there were so many times this year where I got a pitch middle where I wanted that, I got the pitch I was looking for. I just like barely missed it. Like launch angle a little bit too high, or I top spun it, or I just got it off the end, and I just missed those pitches. So if I could have a full, this is absurd. If I could have a full season where I just never missed any pitches, like we hit 60 homers. That's impossible to do. For Cal got really, really good at just pulling the ball in the air. I mean, I think he probably leads the league in full air percentage this year, and that's the formula to hitting homers, especially when you've got this grab power like he has. You're big and strong. You can just simply pull the ball in the air. The homers are going to come, and that's what he got really, really good at this year from base side of the plate, which is wildly impressive to be able to manage two different swings. We talked a little bit at the All-Star game about like a few mechanical adjustments he made. They were just like small tweaks, so it wasn't anything of like groundbreaking. I completely changed my approach, completely changed my swing. He just had a few different cues he was using, and that was allowing him to kind of get his best swing off more often. And I think that was probably to see he was able to get his best swing off all the time on pitches he wanted to do damage on, hold the ball in the air. And I'm sure he was just super locked in for 6 months where it felt like, I mean, there were times even watching him, it became middle of summer, it became like, all right, our game's over. Let's check Seattle's box score, see what Cal did tonight. I mean, he was hitting pitches like I remember specifically a ball in Detroit. He was hitting right-handed, and it was a left-handed changeup off the plate away, and he hit it like 10 rows deep to left center. I was like, I don't even know how you do that. But he was just like mega locked in all season. And when you couple that with the fact that he kind of found a way to get his best swing off and pull the ball in the air, you get 60 homer historic seasons, which is super fun to watch.
I'm deep in your heat zone, your maps. Yeah, you let some middle ones get by this year.
Yeah, I know. A lot of pop, like a lot of just 5 fly balls on middle ones.
What was a home run derby like? Speaking of Cal,
super. Like, it was really fun. It was more fun and less nerve wracking than I thought it was going to be. Honestly, like, I had a really good time. But going into it, obviously I was nervous, but then you hit the first homer and the nerves kind of go away, and it was a blast. I really enjoyed it.
We were joking he was going to have Scooble pitch home run derby.
That was the first thing Tarek said to me when I saw him that weekend. I was like, he's like, you want me to throw tomorrow? And I was like, I'm good. I don't want to see you any more than I have to, man. Like, twice a year is plenty.
How did you pick a pitcher? Who was it?
So Joe was like the guy I hit with growing up, like 9 through 14, and then I played on his travel team in high school. So he's been throwing to me, and he throws me in the off season here still. So we've been hitting together a long time.
That's great. Well, see, he had to be nervous.
He was super nervous, I think. He did a good job. I was pleased with his performance.
That's like the key to the whole thing is like you're picking these kind of sometimes random dudes, and it's like, yo, if they can't locate, you can only hit somebody.
Yeah.
It's going to do so much, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm obsessing over your heat maps here, just saying like
what are you on? Are you on Fangraphs or Savant? What are you on?
I'm on Savant.
Savant.
Of just like, man, you covered the zone better. That like, you're slugging anywhere in the zone, basically, other than down and in, or is that down and away? I forget always. Yeah, it's down and away.
Probably down and away. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than down and away, you were, essentially hitting the ball really better than. But like the true misses this year, you were down. You're slugging in the heart of the plate was only 744 this year, but it was over 1,000 last year in the middle of the plate. So like, but it is just so much. I mean, how much of hitting is just like waiting for a guy to make a mistake? I mean, it is like, that's what's got to be so hard about preparing is, you guys are working so hard to not throw it in a certain zone. Is there any like doubt or surprise when they do throw you one in the zone in the middle of it? Are they trying to catch me with something right here,
Yeah. I think it's like so much of it, like you said, is just waiting for the mistake and having to take advantage of the mistake if you want to have success. And like, those are the at-bats that get you frustrated. If a guy dots 3 pitches and you punch out, you're like, all right, I don't. Like, you can make those 3 pitches over and over again. I'm probably never going to do anything with them. It's when you get the mistake and you don't take advantage of it that's that kind of gets you heated a little bit. And I think my year was interesting because like I struck out way less than I ever have at any point in my career at any level. I cut that way down. Contact was way up, but the like expected metrics on my balls in play were down a little bit. And I think that all comes down to my contact point was just slightly deeper this year, which led to some more top spin, led to some balls that were doubles that maybe could have been homers, led to some just misses, but it also, like I said, whip percentage is down, chase was down, strikeout was down. So I have to find a way to like marry those two together and kind of find where the sweet spot is. Because in 24, obviously 39 homers, I struck out 29%. I think this year was 22-ish%. It hit 30 homers, but the doubles were way up. So I don't know. It was just kind of a weird, like,
well, it's a weird thing
find
that like
the balance here.
Your outside the zone contact went up 4% this year, which is correct me if I'm wrong. That's a bad thing. Like at times you'd rather
more
miss.
Weak contact. I would rather swing and miss.
You would rather swing and miss. So that can explain some of the strikeouts going down and for
sure.
For those that aren't following,
like this year, plenty of times this year where I would make contact on a ball like just off the plate away in a 1-0 count. I wish I just would have swung and missed at that. Like, it would be like, I get an advantage count. Okay, 2-0. I'm going to take my chance at a heater here and like be totally fine if I swing and miss at a slider. Who cares? Now it's 2-1. And I end up like making contact with the slider and it's a weak ground ball. It's like, I wish I just would have swung and missed. Like, it would have been better to be 2-1, having a chance to just roll that slider over that I didn't really want to hit. So, I don't know why that happens, but that was kind of the case several times this year.
What's the process of sussing out all of that data at the end of a season? How much of that is you poking around on websites? How much do you have a stats person? How much is the A's? How much can you not talk about? What's the kind of that mix like?
Yeah, I mean, we all have. I mean, it's. I think it's great that Baseball Savant is just like publicly available because they honestly have some of the best information possible. So I use that a lot. And then it's like, for me, I think about this stuff constantly, nonstop, which is kind of how I'm wired. So even a lot of times during the season, I'll come into my hitting coach at 2:00 where I'm like, hey, I did a deep dive. Like, here's what I got. Like, what do you got? And he'll be like, no, stop. Or he'll be like, yeah, that's useful. Like, we can try to do something with that. And I trust him implicitly to help me balance those things out because he knows how I operate. He knows how my brain works. That it's just constantly turning and trying to figure out ways to improve and ways to get better. And so it's a lot of me doing my own deep dives. We obviously have front office people and advanced scouts who will give me whatever information that I want. And it's something that I enjoy doing. It's like, okay, here's the problem. Here's the issue, problem or issue. Here's the situation, what's happening in my bats. Let me see if I can come up with a hypothesis why I think that's happening. And I'll take that to my hitting coach, and he can basically decide, is this worth addressing, or do I just need to continue doing it?
Well, that's what I think is so interesting is like you talking about, having less backspin, more topspin, and making adjustments on your swing, and just the actual process of somebody digging into that, extrapolating it out. Here's what that would look like. Here's why that's a better option than that. And like that's just fascinating to me is not only identifying those things, but then being like, all right, no, we got to commit to this. Trust me. Like, I think this is going to work. I think we need to make this adjustment is a fascinating space to be in, I think.
All while pitchers are doing the exact same thing to you about you.
Yeah.
Just like, oh yeah, Rooker likes it, blah, blah, here. Like, we're not throwing him this. We're sweepers low and away. It's constant iteration of it all. It's just crazy.
That's interesting too, because I kind of like, in terms of preparation, in terms of how I feel, I think I give pitchers too much credit sometimes in their preparation. There was a time at the end of the year I was facing a guy he had 4-seam, slider, curveball, sinker. And I look at my run expectancy, my run value on Baseball Savant. I'm like, okay, if you have a 4-seam slider, curveball, sinker, you should literally only throw me sinkers and curveballs. You shouldn't throw me 4-seams and you shouldn't throw me sliders. So I go to this about thinking that he also knows that. But then he goes and rips 4-seams and sliders. I'm like, what are you doing, idiot? And I think I punched out because he threw me all the pitches that he wasn't supposed to throw me.
He's playing chess.
I'm like, I don't know why on earth you would throw me the two that I'm good at and not throw me the two that I'm bad at. So I go into the at-bat expecting sinkers and curveballs. He goes 4-seam sliders. I'm like, well, I got out because you didn't do your job, man. Like, if you would have been more prepared, I would have gotten it because I would have known what was coming.
That's fantastic. Sorry, we got off track for the playoffs a lot, but this is super interesting. I feel like baseball fans,
whoever's going to win is going to win, man. I don't know.
None of us know. So
you can get some analysis somewhere else. I feel like baseball fans sometimes treat hitting coaches like offensive coordinators in football and think that they're in charge of solving every hitting. Do people overreact? Do fans overreact to the value of a hitting coach or how much influence a hitting coach can have over an offense as a whole? I know that there's different offerings from different ones, but as somebody who's currently frustrated with a hitting coach, I'm wondering if you could help me off the lead.
Yeah, I think probably. I think by the time you get to be in the big leagues, one, you're going to know your swing better than anybody else does. You're going to know how it feels. You're going to know what works for you. You're going to know what your approach is better than anybody else does. And obviously the hitting coach is there to offer value and provide tweaks and a lot of times do the game planning and do the approaches and things like that. But I don't blame the coach guy. And this is from a player perspective. Like, I don't know if a guy's slumping, they blame the hitting coach. I don't like that. It's like, nah, man, it's your career. Like, you can do what you want with it. Like, you can make the swing changes you want to make. Like, you can kind of do your own thing. So, yeah, I think people do over. It's not they're not calling plays, right? It's not like they're up there telling you what to do. It's not the same as football or things like that. So I think it's probably over exaggerated.
I don't think the good ones are trying to shape every single hitter into their own philosophy. Like, you're trying to get the best out of what you do well, and what the next guy does well is totally different than what you do well. But you can get yourself in trouble if you try to fit everyone into a box.
Yeah, the best ones are definitely going to look at what everyone's strength is, and then even more so than swing stuff, it's going to be like, okay, here's what I think you should do against this specific pitcher based on what you do well and best what he's going to try to do. Here's your window. Here's the pitch you need to look for, things like that. And that's where the game planning and approach side comes into it more than the actual swing stuff.
If the pitcher does his homework.
If the pitcher does his homework, exactly. Because sometimes they just throw nonsense in there and it gets harder.
Brent, I want to ask you something, but I want to thank our last sponsor real quick, and that is Rhoback Activewear. Fall golf is here. Rhoback is ready. Vests, hybrid jackets, hoodies, you name it, Rhoback has it. Let me introduce you to Rhoback's new Pace Q-Zip. The fabric is incredible, soft, stretchy, insanely comfortable, has a nice custom metal zipper, rib collars, cuffs, and hem, and an elevated look. Think sweater, but more comfortable. We haven't been able to take it off here at NLU. Second, the Rhoback Fulton hybrid jacket. I think it's been slept on a little bit, guys. It's as simple as that. It has a great, lightly insulated torso with smooth stretch sides and sleeves. Easy to swing in and comfortable for everyday wear. And then finally, the Rhoback Delta pants. They're our favorite pants. They have this really nice stretch waistband to give you extra room and comfort, but still maintain the perfect fit. The fabric is awesome, and they maintain a great look for everyday wear on and off the course. So if your fall fit needs a refresh, now's the time. Head to Rhoback.com, Rhoback spelled R-H-O-B-A-C-K, Rhoback.com, and use code TRAP, T-R-A-P, for 20% off your first order through the end of the week. Q-zips, jackets, pants, whatever you need, Rhoback has you covered. We thank them for being a sponsor. Brent, I was going to ask, how important was it or not for you to play 162 games this year? I feel like that's a pretty cool feat that not a lot of guys accomplish these days.
It didn't start as a goal in the season. And as we got to like, all right, we're at 110, 120, we get closer. I was like, all right, we might as well do this now that we're this deep into it.
What's Ripken's record again? Just I don't know if that
2,600.
18 more years of doing that.
I play every game until I'm like 59. I think I'll have a shot at it.
How was as kind of a post-mortem on the A's, how was the first year in Sacramento? I mean, I know maybe not ideal compared to some other major league venues, but how do you think it went for you guys? And as a team, you know, I'll say, like, I watched a lot of your games. I would watch a lot of Reds games early, and then, you know, I would flip on the A's late at night. You guys have such a young, fun core on the offensive side, at least. And talk to me about like where your head is, the excitement level, I guess, as you look forward to 2026.
Yeah. The adjustment to Sacramento for us to the stadium and just kind of getting our routines and things like that took a little bit, but I think we got there by the end of the year. I think we do have the advantage of having such a young team that a lot of our guys don't know any different. And I think that kind of plays into our hand a little bit. That, like, it's not like we have a bunch of 10, 12-year vets coming from these other places, and when they got to adjust to playing in Sacramento, it's like this is kind of all they know at this point, which I think is makes the transition a little bit easier. So I think by the end of the year, we were doing a good job. We were playing well. The record for the last 2-3 months was really, really good. I think you kind of touched on the young core that we have. There's a lot of talent. And the way we ended the year, I think, just created a lot of excitement and optimism for us going into spring training. We did the same thing last year where we had a really good second half, and we weren't really able to turn the page and get off to a good start as much. And this year that I think we will be able to do that next year, just because we now have another year of experience. We have guys who line up being played every day, who know what it takes, who know how to go about their business, who are really, really good. And I think it's going to be, it's an exciting team. It really is. Objectively, like, you just look at the age of some of the guys who put up some big numbers this year, and the next 4 or 5 years look really fun.
What's it like to be in a situation? I'm thinking JP Sears, because he joined us at dinner. I know you guys were buddies, and so there's a friendship angle of this, but then there's also, probably a Mason Miller angle of this too, where it's like, man, we're really building something. We've got a lot of these pieces in place, and then for some of those guys to be trade bait and bring in other things. Like, what's that balance feel like to be kind of in the situation where you guys are in, where it's probably we're probably a year away, we're probably building something, but now did we just get knocked down or did we get better? It's kind of got to be such a weird push and pull.
Yeah, on a personal level, it sucks just because I was super close with JP, super close with Mason. we played golf the day that they both got traded, and two of my really good friends, and seeing them having to go is always tough, no matter the year, no matter the person. But when you look at it like objectively, it's like, yeah, that trade sucks, but you look at what we got back, and it's like, I mean, and the reports I'm hearing on this kid in AA, it's like, it kind of seems like maybe it might have been worth it. I don't know. I talked to people on our staff about how high we are on him and how good we think he's going to be, not to mention the orange we got back with it, which is going to help the bullpen. There's a couple guys, I think, who could be contributed stars the next couple of years, I think we're hoping. So you have to kind of separate the two. It's like, did we get worse this season by losing Mason and JP? Like, yeah, I don't think you can say that that's not true. But did the outlook for the next 4 to 5 years and capitalizing on the window that we think we have improve? And I think it probably did if Leo DeVries is what he is advertised to be, which is, it looks like he definitely is. So it's exciting.
Do you potentially view that just a little bit differently, having signed a longer term contract with the A's, in terms of like, I know I'm going to, unless I get traded, I'm essentially know I'm going to be here for another 4 years after this one. Like, I'm probably going to get to play with Leo DeVries. Yeah,
no, for sure. And I'm going to be 33 and he's going to be like 19 still, and we're going to be vibing. But no, I think definitely it's kind of when I signed that contract, I was like, all right, I'm here for 5, hopefully 6 years now. I know what we have coming. I know the guys we have on our team. Let's build this thing to really take advantage of this window that we think we have. And that was before we even knew what Nick Kurtz was. And now we know what Nick Kurtz is. And that makes it even more exciting and more optimistic. So, yeah, it's definitely part of it.
I'm glad you mentioned Nick Kurtz, because I did want to ask you about him. I mean, just an unbelievable rookie season this year at age 22. I'm sure there were signs of this potential, like going back to spring training.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine, like, did you ever think he would just burst onto the scene like this? What's the most impressive thing to you about Nick?
His maturity and how he handled himself, I think, is what's most impressive, and two, what's kind of allowed him to do what he's done. He is incredibly level-headed, incredibly even keel, not too high, not too low, just a great overall clubhouse presence and a really mature kid. And I think we saw in spring training, like, okay, there's something here. Obviously, when you're a top 5 pick, especially when you're a top 5 pick as a college, like first base only, like there are people believing in the bat at a really high level. And so that you have that potential, and you see what he did in spring training. You saw what he did in the fall league. You send him to AAA, and it's like, I talk about, we in the middle of summer, we're keeping up with Cal after every game. Or then in April, it was, all right, let's see what Kurtz did today. Like, we get through with our game, let's check the AAA box for see what Kurtz did. Oh, he had another homer, and then he had another homer. And it's like, all right, well, he's coming soon, and we're gonna figure out what this looks like. And then his first 3 weeks or so, I don't think he got an extra base hit. And it was like, okay, he's normal. Like, he's a 22-year-old. He's really good, but he's going to take some time to get his feet wet under him. Maybe there's an option coming up. Maybe he needs to go back down, get his confidence back up. And then he just started hitting, and it didn't stop. And it was the one, he talked like the bat speed, the ramp power, and couple that, like, he's just got a super advanced approach. He knows what he's doing. He's willing to learn. I can talk about Nick Free. It's a blast to be his teammate. It's really fun to watch him do his thing. And I think, and he's like, the end of the year question is like, what's it like to watch Nick Kurtz do what he did? And I think, I've never played with not yet at this point. I was never on a team with like, I'm going to throw out some names here. So like with like Pujols or Tommy or like Ramiro Ramirez or like these like generational type hitters. But like, I'm imagining like that's what this looks like when they start it. It's like, nah, this feels different. Like, it's different. And that's the way, like, I'm pretty good, like, to be arrogant and like get this for a second. I'm pretty good. He's different, man. Like, there's something about it that just like, this is what it's supposed to look like when you watch these type of careers start.
Which is a frame of reference for this conversation. For everybody in baseball with over 450 plate appearances this past year, leader in WRC plus is Aaron Judge. Second is Shohei Ohtani. 2 points behind Shohei Ohtani is Nick Kurtz.
Yeah, it's
like, that's so.
It's that level. It's what it is. Yeah.
And it's not just the launching pad that it was Sacramento. That's a park adjusted figure. Like, that's like your true talent level of what you've been able to produce on offense. And it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, above Cal Raleigh, who hit 60 home runs. Which is, it's absurd.
When he hit that 4 homer game in Houston, he was on a crazy run going into that game. First of all, like the previous week, he had just been crushing everything. And he hit the first homer, and I think I got on first base and my at bat after that. And I was like, dude, I told our first base coach, Bobby Crosby, former AL Rookie of the Year. Shout out to Bobby there. But I was like, it's like, Kurtz has to stop this at some point, right? Like, he can't continue to do this. Like, because if he does, he's just like the best hitter ever. And he was like, yeah, no. He's got to stop. He's just on a run right now. And then he hit another homer. And then I got out first. Like, dude, like, he's got to stop at some point. Like, this can't keep happening. And he's like, I think you're right. Yeah. He's not like he's really good. But like, he's not the best hitter ever. And then he hit another homer. And I got out first. I was like, I think he might just be the best ever, man. Like, I don't know how we keep watching this and like downplaying it, but I think he's just like that level of good. Some of the things he like the back-to-back homers off of Abreu and Hader back-to-back nights, like crazy. The 4-homer game is crazy. Took a left-on-left curveball the last week of the season off of Framba and just flicked it out the left field like 105. And you're just like, that's not a normal thing for anyone to do, much less a 22-year-old. So again, like I don't know. I'm very high on Nick. I don't know if you guys can gather that, but I'm very, very high on that. Yeah.
I got laughed at when I offered him in a trade for Jose Ramirez at one point this year, and you could keep Kurtz, and they were like, "Oh, you're trying to rob this guy," and I'm like, "Thank God he didn't accept that, man, because this guy is maybe the most valuable keeper that exists in the league."
Yeah, but he's 22 still, man. He's got like
it's crazy.
He's got 15 years left doing this. It's nuts.
Chase Burns better win a Cy Young, Randy. He really better.
We'll see. It'll be that'll be a good debate. I was thinking too. God, Kurtz took. Did he get one off Lodolo? Maybe. Super impressive. But that's like beyond Kurtz. You know, we've mentioned Jacob Wilson. I love watching Jacob Wilson, the bat on ball, like such an old school kind of profile there. But then you mix in Shea Langoliers had an unbelievable season.
Incredible.
Tyler Soderstrom really came along. Obviously yourself. I'm a huge Lawrence Butler guy. I thought it was, I won't say it was a disappointing season, but I was maybe thinking he would pop a little bit more after what he showed in 2024. But like truly, I guess it goes back to you guys are, in my opinion, maybe right there among the most fun offenses to watch in all of baseball. And it's got to be fun to just be a part of that, I would think.
Yeah, I agree with you. Willie's awesome. Obviously, a very different style than what you see most of the time there. But I mean, he hit 13, 14 homers. Like, it's not like there's no power there. Like, he can get to his pull side on some hanging breaking balls and drive him out of the yard, and then just to pesky at bat. I think
13. Yep.
I think 13. I think the biggest compliment you can pay Lawrence is saying that this was a disappointing season for him, because he hit 20 homers, he stole 20 bags, he played really, really good corner defense in right field. So I think that kind of speaks to what kind of player he is, that you kind of look at the season as a whole. And he would agree with you. I think he'd say, like, that's a little disappointing, but I think when you look at that as kind of being what his floor probably is, it speaks to how good of a player, how much potential he has. Tyler Soderstrom, unbelievable year. The way he grew up is still so young too. The approach is really, really good. I was incredibly impressed with him. Everybody asked me before last season, like, who's the pick to do it this year? And Shea was my answer. Like, I watched Shea for the last 2 years. He's gotten consistently better month over month, year over year. And what he did this year was really, really great too. Obviously, the second half was special. And then, there's a bunch of other young guys too. Watching Denzel Clark play center field is as fun as you can. It's as fun as something you can watch in sports. Like, he's insane out there.
Freak.
Yeah, it's looking up. Max Muncy's got a ton of potential. We like Gelf when he gets back healthy. Obviously, a ton of guys over the field. It's really, really exciting.
I'll say too. We said this on an episode a couple weeks ago, but if you're like a sicko completist, I got to go see every ballpark, or you're looking for people ask us, Randy, about like strapped trips all the time. And I'm always like, man, just go down on the bucket list a little bit. Like, you don't have to stick to the bucket list. Go out if you got a buddy you like watching games with, go, catch a flight out to Sacramento or drive to Sacramento if you're close by. It's ballpark's walkable downtown. The weather's delightful. Yeah. It's like, I had a fucking blast, like hanging out and watching the game there. And you build in a little round of golf or something and a cool dinner. And it's just such an easy, like, accessible trip to go see something different. You can boo Brent, You can root for your team.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
it's great. It's great.
We have obviously our clubhouse isn't connected to our dugout, so like 3-4 times a game, I have to walk from the dugout all the way down the third baseline to get to the clubhouse between the bats. So like you got like a minute and a half to just yell whatever you want to me during that time, and I have to just ignore it.
Treat
So
it
that's great.
Treat it like the Ryder Cup.
Back my parlay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
My part.
Sully, it does occur to me, and Brent, I know you will have no comment on this, but there is a team with a lot of young pitching in the National League that could use a right-handed power bat in their lineup. I'm just wondering if there's perhaps a match where we could get BR to Cincinnati.
I think that's many Reds fans have been dreaming of this for quite some time. We did make a trade for a right-handed bat from the A's.
Yeah, you got my guy Miggy.
And
He played great.
He was awesome.
Yeah, he played great.
He made himself some money these last couple months.
Yeah,
I think
he for sure did.
He's going to get, somebody's going to pay him $8 million or something for next
He
year.
Dude, he kills lefties. Like he just dominates lefties, and I mean, he's bat the ball too. Doesn't strike out. Like he can do the whole thing. So I love Biggie. Great guy.
Yeah, I'd love to have him back.
Deej, any takes we need to throw at Brent here before we let him go? You got any in the chamber?
Yeah, good take, bad take. No one can play defense anymore.
That's the worst thing possible.
Where's that
I'm just
coming
eye
from?
test, man. I'm just seeing, nobody.
Every time I hit a ball in the
It's
air
all
in the outfield,
positioning
some
now.
mutant in center field's running to catch it. Like I don't. That's what and the positioning's better. That's what they don't. People like when you're AAA, you're like, oh, pitching's better than the big leagues. It's hard to hit. They don't tell you how good the freaking defense is too. Like everyone's in the exact right place all the time. Everybody's running balls down. There's center fielders going halfway over the wall to bring back homers. Like it's crazy.
Agree to disagree on that one, Brett. I don't know.
I got a good take, bad take for you. I was recently talking with somebody who was in the Hall of Fame in Major League Baseball, who said to me, pitchers throw just as hard in my day as they do now. I'll tell you the name of that person here. Unless you listen to the Ryder Cup shows, you might know who it was. But good take, bad take. Pitchers throw just as hard now as they did maybe in the mid-2000s.
I mean, every measurable number we have says that that's a bad take, but
Which is exactly what I said to this person. He said it's because the radar guns changed.
so I have it also.
Going to my house, man. I don't know.
Velocity's been made the exact same since 2008. It's like confirmed 100%, and the velocity's gone up every year since then. So if you are able to maintain the takes that they went down and then suddenly hit 2008 and started going up every single year, then like I guess you can have that opinion. But as long as you want to lose you want to use any semblance of logic, then it would be tough to make that.
This sounds like
I just
Justin.
tweeted the other day that the average pitch the Cubs have seen in this playoffs is harder than the average fastball they saw in like 2005. Like that's including sliders, shade. Like the average pitch is now harder than the average fastball was. Something.
Dude,
So it's like the radar gun thing is just so dumb. It's like, well, it's been 20 years now. Major League the same. It's going up every single season. So I don't know why you would think that wasn't happening before that.
I know this. It was just so jarring to have Ken Griffey Jr. tell me this and just be like,
yeah.
But I'm like, I'm fucking arguing with Ken Griffey Jr., like one of the best hitters literally ever.
Okay. I haven't had a place to suss this out. Here's what frustrates me is people like who are like, hey, the game is better now than it has ever been. Pitchers are better. People that played 20, 30, 40 years ago, whatever it is, think that is an insult to them, saying that they were not as good as we are now. But that's not what it's saying. The best players of every generation would be the best players in every generation because they have the unique ability to adapt and overcome and become elite at whatever they're doing at the time period that they are doing it. People in the 1970s had to do different things to be elite than people now have to do. And the people who were elite in the 1970s had the ability to now learn what they had to do and adapt and do those things. They would be able to do the same things now. They would still be the best players now. Hank Aaron, if you dropped him now and he had the same training, the same environment and the same information, he would also be the best player today. It's not insulting people saying they're not as good as they were. It's just saying the things that you guys had to do were not the same that we have to do to be the best of the best. And when you have to it just drives me insane. Like, we're not saying you suck. We're saying that human progression happens. And if you existed in a different time period, you would still be the best of that time period. And it's like, it gets to me. And it's because it's like, objectively, you can't make these arguments. Like I said, every measurable number, he said, no, like guys are going harder now than they used to. Like it's not an insult to you. It's just what's happening.
And all that being said, if Babe Ruth had to face Tarek Skubal, he'd go down in 3 pitches. Like if you just dropped him in right now.
Yes. He would get absolutely dominated.
Prime Babe Ruth, he would get dominated.
A
tough
person
spot
with the
for the
same
Babe.
genetics.
Tough spot for my guy, the Babe.
But if a person with identical genetics to Babe Ruth was born today and got the trade and had the information, he would still be the best. Yeah. But like if that actual version came, he would, I mean, freaking Matt Bradford throw him a slider and have a heart attack. He would have no idea. Like he would be like, that's illegal. You can't do that.
What is this witchcraft?
Check that ball for sandpaper. Yeah, we got Vaseline out there.
You were getting off some snipey tweets last night. I'm assuming that was in relation to, was it Smoltz last
just
night?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Not John specifically, just I can't stand it. It's just like, why do we have, there's not even John. There's just so many ex-players on Twitter who just live to tell everybody how bad players are today. And I'm like, what are you gaining from this? I don't understand. Like, what benefit you have just by saying how much better everybody was in 1996 because they slapped the ball the other way and they choked up with 2 strikes.
I think what I get back to on this is like, it was just the game. We're all nostalgic for the game whenever you fell in love with baseball, like for that style of play. And it was more aesthetically pleasing to see more base hits, less strikeouts, right? It was the trade for less base hits, more home runs, more strikeouts was not a great trade for fans. It was the mathematical move. Like it's the best way to create the best team. But before analytics, that scary word took over and everyone believed that base hits were everything. Also, King Griffey Jr. told me it was called baseball, not run ball. Bases are more important than runs.
Love that.
You wrote that one down.
Like that was just like it was fun to see a guy go 3 for 5 with 3 singles. Like that's just what again. It doesn't equate to the most runs possible, but it was the style of play that people fell in love with.
I think it's the exact same with golf.
Yeah,
honestly, I know that's like an easy comp on this podcast, but I think that's the same conversation we have in golf, where it's like, yeah, man, it makes a lot more sense to just fucking mash it and go down that driving distance list, and it's going to look a lot like the bat speed list, and there's going to be a couple outliers, but it's going to be mostly like, lay this over the money list and they're going to be pretty close. Right. And it's, it was a lot more fun to watch guys shaping the ball and weaving it through trees and playing with funny pants on and all of that stuff. But yeah, man, it's just kind of, it changes, man.
Which is why Solly always gives us a hard time, but I am sincere when I look at a guy like Luis Ariz, and he struck out 21 times this year.
That's crazy.
675 plate appearances. And I love that he still exists.
Sure.
I love that a guy like that is still in Major League Baseball. That makes me happy.
Would you pay him $13 million a year to give you a half a win, Randy? Do you love that part?
If it's not my money, sure, I would pay somebody else.
Because the Reds are probably going to do that. That's my point.
I would welcome him on the Reds. All right. Anything else, guys, or should we let BR go?
I have one more. Just you mentioned Smoltz, and it got me thinking about like the realignment stuff. He had a fuego envisioning for what expansion and realignment can look like, which we can talk about later. But the one I've heard, good take, bad take. If expansion and realignment happens, they should get rid of divisions. It should just be American League and National League, and try to convince some of these players who are just playing to win their division to actually try to win the league.
I don't hate that take. I think that's fine. I think the only opinion I have about realignment, I think we talked about this, DJ, is whenever realignment happens, I want them to keep the American League, National League monikers. Like, I think that's important for tradition and for the nostalgic appeal of it. Like, I don't want like a West and an East or whatever. Like, keep the American League, keep the National League. I think that is important. Whatever they want to do under those two titles, like, I don't even have an opinion yet.
I guess in that same vein, good take, bad take. Too many teams make the playoffs today.
Bad take. I think it's at a good number. I don't think it needs to be any more though.
I think the best case you can make for it is I really like how it's tiered. Like there is 1 and 2 is a very clear, like, here is a nice advantage. And I'm not going to do the whole is a buy an advantage anymore. Of course it's an advantage. And like 3 and 4, you get to be home for all 3 games of the wild card series. Like 5 and 6 are not equal to 3 and 4. That's where I'm a little bitter just about it just didn't feel like a postseason, right? I mean, you're going on the road and it's over very quickly. I like that part of it. I think it's a fair rewarding of it, even if 6 teams feels like a lot. At least it's tiered out really well.
I agree.
I think it's in a good spot. And the wild card series are super fun. Like they're really entertaining.
If you view it like a play, I kind of viewed it like a play-in game, but it's a play-in series.
Yeah.
I mean, it's essentially what it is. And once you view it like that, it feels like the postseason starts with the division series.
Yeah.
Like the rest are kind of play-ins, and then when you get there, it's like, all right, now it's go time.
That's fair.
All right, Brent, are you allowed to pick a World Series winner? Let's go around. Who you got winning the World Series?
I'm gonna pass.
I mean, I'm pot committed here, man. I'll take the Brewers.
Los Crew.
I think I would take the top three NL teams before I would take one out of the AL. And I do not think the Phillies are dead. I'll say that. I think the Phillies are the best team. They're not sitting great right now at 2-1, but I'll say it, Randy. They might be eliminated by the time it gets published, but I'm going to say the Phillies are going to win the World Series.
Okay. I like it. I've doubted them all year. I'm going to reverse that. I'll take the Toronto Blue Jays, hitting and defense.
Blue Jays are fun. I've enjoyed watching what I've watched of them.
They're fun.
Nervous about the pen?
Of course. And the starting pitching. Yeah. I can't believe Jeff Hoffman's a closer for the best team in the Anyway, Brent, thank you very much. Congrats on a very, very, very good season, an all-star season, 162 games. Enjoy your off season. Enjoy the golf. Enjoy the golf with your daughter. Thank you for spending time with us and letting us huck takes at you. It's truly one of my favorite episodes that we do.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me. Enjoyed it.
And if you were hoping for more Yankees Red Sox talk and less A's talk, we do apologize for that. But that's the nature of the Seamsters. You don't know what you're going to get.